St. Viator is a vibrant community that dates back to 1888 and is celebrating its 125th anniversary. Over these 125 years, our church has been ministering to the needs of our community. And while facilities and faces have changed over the years, one thing remains the same: our commitment to Christ, to one another, and to the betterment of our community. Our church today is an active community comprised of over 900 households. Led by a dedicated pastor and strong core of lay leaders and volunteers, there is an increasing number of ways that people of all ages can participate in the spiritual, educational, social, and service ministries of our church. Yet despite our strong heritage of activity and accomplishment, some significant challenges still remain. For the past 3 years, we have embarked on a strategic planning process in line with the Archdiocesan Transforming Parishes that is directed to the ongoing growth and vitality of the parish. Part of this planning was to get an understanding of the current and future condition and needs of our parish facilities. We hired an architectural firm to do an in-depth study of our aging building and grounds. While many needs surfaced as part of our campus planning, all of which will ultimately need to be addressed, there were a few that were identified as most critical. The Recreation Center was built in 1958, and for the most part, the exterior is in good condition except for the roof. Any further maintenance work has not been recommended and would not be efficient or a good use of our funds. The roof simply needs to be replaced. Perhaps the most critical issue at this time is the condition of the stained glass windows. Over time, the wood frame and glazing have begun to decay from exposure to moisture and sunlight. This has weakened the frame and structure of many of the windows, increasing the possibility of the glass falling out. Due to decay, some of the window sills have begun to separate from their frame, allowing water to seep through the cracks into the interior of the church, causing the plaster to flake and the walls to become water-stained. The plexiglass that was installed years ago to protect these windows has become opaque and no longer allows the sunlight to pass through them clearly. This has caused the lighting in the church to be very muted and dim, diminishing the full brilliance and beauty of the stained glass. We need to tuck point around all of the stained glass windows to prevent further deterioration and prevent further damage to the windows and the interior of the church. There is a need to tuck point the masonry around the church. The current mortar joints have debonded, cracked, and deteriorated, allowing water to easily penetrate the limestone masonry. Signs of this can be easily seen. There are hairline cracks in the mortar between the bricks, as well as crumbling mortar and mortar erosion. There is evidence of efflorescence caused by water penetration. There are signs of water damage to the interior of the church. Another critical need that was identified is our need to replace the school roof. The original school was built in 1909, with 2 additions being built in 1948 and 1953. These school roofs are very much in need of replacement. There are currently 5 layers on the roof, with little roof life left. Many deficiencies were noted. The flashing is in poor condition. The roof is cracking and deteriorating. It leaks, and left unchecked, could cause major water damage within the school. The gullies and valleys on the roof that direct water off the roof are not functioning properly. Instead, the water forms pools on the roof that can slowly leak into the interior of the school and damage the interior ceilings and walls. We also need to replace the school elevator motor and repair the elevator. The present elevator motor was installed in the 1950s, at the time of our last addition to the school building. To function properly, it requires regular monthly inspections and maintenance. The parts are old, and it is difficult to find replacements. The bearings, rings, and the motor itself are worn and show the effects of great usage. The elevator is a critical part of daily school operations and is used by many of the staff and students for transporting many items, including meals, needed equipment, and materials from floor to floor, as well as making it easier for those not able to use the stairs. The school fire suppression sprinkler heads also need to be replaced. Over 73 of the sprinkler heads are over 50 years old, and have been painted over in the past years. This makes the school fire suppression system inoperable and creates a dangerous environment for our children and staff should a fire actually occur. There is a need to install soundproofing in the school hall. Currently, the cafeteria reverberates with noise, not only when children are present, but also during lectures, or when showing movies, or when there are presentations. The echo is very distracting and makes it very difficult to hear. We also need to raise funds to pay for the school and church boilers that had to be replaced before they broke down on a cold winter day and were found to be irreparable. There was concern of this because of their age. They were no longer energy efficient or safe. They had reached the stage where they required a high degree of costly maintenance and had little time before going into complete disrepair. The old boilers were decaying and leaking. They no longer heated the buildings evenly or adequately. The rectory is also in dire need of repairs. Masonry, roof repairs, and motor boiler replacement need to be addressed. Problems will only get worse if repairs are delayed or not done. The mortar in the rectory masonry, especially the north and south sides, is deteriorating and disappearing, causing the stones and brick to dislodge from their positions. The bricks and stones themselves are deteriorating as well in the corners of the building and porches. Due to the deteriorating mortar, water seeps in between the stones and bricks and freezes in the winter, causing the stones and bricks to become unaligned. The deteriorating mortar allows water to seep into the interior walls, causing the paint and plaster to get wet, then peel and chafe. The rectory roof also needs to be addressed. On the flat roof portion of the rectory, the tar and underlayment has deteriorated and cracked, causing leaks. There are also leaks around the drains. There are signs of standing water or lack of a proper slope on the roof, which needs to be addressed to prevent the water leaks into the rectory, damaging ceilings and walls. The rectory boiler is old and inefficient and will need to be replaced. The present motor is not the proper motor and is too big for the boiler. The boiler works only intermittently, and when it does, it causes a terrible rumble through the building. We plan to take a proactive approach to meeting the needs addressed in our facility assessment report and begin to address those issues that are most immediate. Because of its severity and condition, we plan a total roof replacement for the recreation center. Our plans are to tear off the roof and install a new roof that will include a 20-year warranty and a 2-year contractor warranty, a vapor barrier, various layers of adhesive protective coatings, fabricated gutters and downspouts, counter flashing, a gravel stop, and reflective coating. The wood framing of the stained glass windows will be repaired and restored to protect them for the next century and generations to enjoy. Any deterioration of the skeletal structure that holds the glass will be repaired or replaced. Old paint will be scraped and removed. Old deteriorated wood will be replaced to match the original size and profile. Wood laminations will be screwed together using non-corrosive screws. All wood will be sanded down to a smooth finish. New surfaces will be protected from the elements with multiple layers of protection. The old faded plexiglass will be replaced with a new covering of 1/4-inch plate glass that will not only protect the stained glass, but will also allow full light to shine through and will withstand the elements with less deterioration. This will brighten the church considerably and bring a new brilliance to the stained glass and interior of the church. The process will involve removing the existing protective covering, cleaning the exterior surface of the stained glass, re-cementing the exterior of the stained glass, and adjusting, sanding, and painting all steel lift ventilators to bring them to operable conditions. Finally, we plan to tuck point around the windows to prevent further deterioration and damage. Our plans also include tuck pointing around the church where needed. All loose, crumbling, and cracked mortar will be removed while not damaging the masonry in the process. The removed material will be replaced with new and proper mortar that matches the original mortar in both color and texture. Our plans also include totally replacing the school roof, which consists of 11,900 square feet of flat surface and 1,900 square feet of flashing. This will include removing the 5 layers that are currently on the roof so as to get down to the wood decking. We will install new insulation equaling an R22 value and fire-rated bitumen sheets. Tuck pointing and brickwork will be done as needed. The roof will be repitched as best as possible to prevent water pooling. We will also repair the elevator, which includes replacing its motor. This will provide functionality and efficiency to the school and assist in moving people, supplies, and materials more effectively between floors. All 73 sprinkler heads of the school's fire suppression system will be replaced. The school hall will be soundproofed. 1-inch wall and ceiling tiles will be installed, reducing reverberation considerably. We will fully repair and restore the rectory masonry. All cracks in the mortar will be repointed, which consists of removing all damaged mortar between the bricks where a possibility of water penetration exists and filling the joint with new mortar. We will repair the rectory roof by replacing all roofing materials that are cracked and deteriorated, repairing or replacing drains where needed, and sloping the roof as possible to prevent standing water. We will replace the rectory boiler with a new, efficient motor designed specifically for the boiler. The old church and school boilers were removed and replaced in 2012 with more energy-efficient ones, lowering our heating and cooling costs. In order to purchase these boilers, it was necessary to borrow the funds from the Archdiocese. Our plan is to repay this loan with funds raised from this campaign. To address our needs and plans, we are initiating an intensive fundraising effort titled the Generations of Faith Planting the Seed campaign. Our aim with this important effort is to raise the funds required to maintain and improve our facilities. Our fundraising consultant said that we could realistically expect to raise a minimum of $750,000 in our campaign. We need and hope to do far better than this, however. That is why we have decided to set a minimum goal of $1 million for our campaign, which will enable us to make the needed repairs to the church, rectory, school, and recreation center, and pay for the school and church boilers. A challenge goal of $2 million has also been set, which, if met, will enable us to replace the school windows, as well as repair the masonry and lintels around those school windows, install air conditioning in the upper church, and renovate the lower church into a parish hall. In order to reach our objectives, we will need both a substantial number of givers and a few fairly substantial gifts. And all members are asked to consider gifts over and above their regular gifts to the church and school. There are a variety of gift options from which to choose. Long-term subscriptions, or pledges payable over 3 years, are easier for most and essential to meeting our goal, since it would be impractical, if not impossible, to reach our objectives with one-time, out-of-pocket gifts. Pledges may be paid in whatever way the donor may choose, be it monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, or annual installments at the donor's discretion. A 10% initial investment toward your total pledge is also encouraged and will enable us to start on the project even sooner. Non-cash gifts are an additional or alternative way you can support our cause. You may, for example, wish to consider gifts in kind, such as labor and materials, gifts of securities such as stocks and bonds, gifts of real estate or even personal property such as artwork, automobiles, jewelry, and antiques. And finally, you can also choose to support our effort through deferred gifts. These are gifts that can be given or arranged for now, but will not be received until later, and include gifts through a person's will by bequest, gifts of life insurance policies or annuities, and gifts in trust. There are also a number of very special gift opportunities available to donors of qualifying gift amounts. These opportunities allow people the unique chance to designate their gifts to a particular part of the project and dedicate them in honor or memory of those they choose. Donors of specific gift items will have their names and/or the names of those they are honoring with their gifts inscribed directly on the item given or on special plaques or nameplates placed on or near the item where appropriate. In addition, all donors, regardless of the size of their gift, will have their names listed in a special bulletin insert announcing campaign results, as well as on a special donor book or donor wall that will be displayed in a prominent and visible place within our facilities. Through the generous, prayerful, voluntary financial support of many and the extraordinary support of a few, we believe that we can succeed in our task. As a result of our combined efforts and sacrifices, we are confident that the Catholic family of St. Viator, already blessed with a splendid and successful past, will be even more successful in the future in its service to God and commitment to Christ's work on earth.